Let's have an honest conversation about Boston's neighborhoods. Every area has its unique character, and what's perfect for one person might be completely wrong for another. Today, I'm sharing some real insights about different Boston neighborhoods to help you avoid making an expensive mistake. This isn't about good or bad areas, it's about finding the right fit for your lifestyle. Hey Boston, Kimberly Meserve here. After helping hundreds of clients find their perfect neighborhood, I've learned that matching lifestyle to location is crucial. Today, I'm breaking down which areas might not work for you based on different priorities and lifestyles. This isn't going to be your typical neighborhood guide. We're getting real about what nobody else will tell you. Let's start with East Boston, and I'm not talking about the popular area of Jeffreys Point. East Boston might not be for you if you need a quick commute that doesn't depend on the Blue Line. While the tunnel makes driving into downtown convenient, tunnel traffic can be unpredictable and you're looking at least $7 daily just in tolls. This area might not work for you if you're sensitive to airport noise. While newer buildings have excellent soundproofing, you'll definitely notice it outside. The closer you get to certain parts of Orient Heights, the more noticeable it becomes. Also, if you love having lots of shopping options nearby, parts of East Boston might feel more limited. While there are great local markets and restaurants, you'll need to travel for major retail shopping. But here's what most people don't realize. Each sub-neighborhood in East Boston has a completely different vibe. Eagle Hill feels nothing like Harborview, which feels nothing like Orient Heights.
Are you thinking about relocating to Boston? Well, I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research, and I've linked it down below. From top employers to best hospitals and a boatload of other things that you need to know before making the move. The best part is that this guide is 100% free. That's right, 100% free. So just click the link in the description or the top pinned comment. I hope this helps.
Roslindale might not be your best choice if you're looking for that bustling city feel. While Roslindale Village is charming, it's definitely got more of a small town vibe. If you're used to having multiple grocery stores, shopping options, and restaurants within walking distance, you might feel limited here depending on where you're located in Roslindale. The commute downtown can be challenging if you're not near the commuter rail station. The Orange Line requires a bus connection, and during rush hour, those buses can get crowded quickly. If you're looking for modern luxury apartments with amenities like pools and fitness centers, you won't find much of that here. Roslindale is mostly traditional triple-deckers and single-family homes. What surprises many people is how hilly Roslindale is. If you're not a fan of walking uphill, certain parts of this neighborhood might be challenging. West Roxbury might not be your scene if you're looking for an urban lifestyle. This is Boston's most suburban feeling neighborhood, and they're proud of it. If you don't have a car, daily life here can be challenging. Yes, there's the commuter rail, but service is limited, especially on weekends. If you're a young professional looking for a social scene, you might feel more isolated here. The neighborhood tends to get quiet early and there's limited nightlife. Most restaurants close by 9 p.m. The housing stock here is primarily single-family homes, so if you're looking for a modern apartment or condo building with amenities, your options will be very limited. Something people don't often consider is that Center Street can get surprisingly congested during rush hour, and finding parking near the commuter rail station can be challenging if you're not there early. Hyde Park might not be your best match if you rely heavily on the T. While there are commuter rail stations, they're not as frequent as subway service, and the last train from downtown leaves pretty early by city standards. This area might feel too quiet if you're looking for a lively urban environment. While Hyde Park has some great local spots, you won't find the same concentration of restaurants and bars as in other Boston neighborhoods. If you're looking for newer construction or luxury buildings, your options here are going to be limited. The housing stock here is primarily older homes and traditional triple-deckers. What often surprises people is how spread out Hyde Park is. What looks walkable on a map might be longer of a trek than you expect, especially in the hillier sections. Now let's talk about some specific Dorchester neighborhoods because they're all different. Ashmont might not be for you if you need a quick commute. While the Red Line is convenient, you're looking at about 30 minutes to downtown, and the trains get crowded during rush hour. Neponset might feel isolated if you don't have a car. While the Red Line does extend here, getting to other parts of Dorchester or nearby neighborhoods can be time-consuming by public transit. If you're looking for lots of restaurant variety within walking distance, some parts of Dorchester might feel limited. While there are great local spots that tend to be concentrated in specific areas like Adams Village or Lower Mills. Something people don't often consider is that some parts of Dorchester have limited grocery store options, and you might need to drive to do your shopping. Moving to Allston's quieter areas might not work if you need predictable sleep patterns. Even away from the student zones, you're still dealing with late night food spots and weekend activity. If you're looking for easy parking, think twice. Even in residential areas, parking can be challenging, especially during snow emergencies when one side of the street becomes off limits. The housing stock in non-student areas tends to be older, so if you're looking for more modern amenities or central air conditioning, your options can be limited. What surprises many people is the traffic pattern. Getting through Allston during rush hour can take much longer than you'd expect, especially around the Mass Pike interchange. Brighton's residential areas might not suit you if you're looking for that classic Boston feel. Parts of Brighton feel more like a suburb, especially as you get closer to Newton. If you rely on the Green Line, be prepared. Even the B Line's less crowded sections can be frustratingly slow, and you're looking at about 40 minutes to downtown during rush hour. The restaurant scene in residential Brighton might feel limited if you're used to having lots of options within walking distance. While there are some great spots, they're mostly concentrated along specific streets. Something people don't often consider is the hills. In certain parts of Brighton, it can make walking or biking more challenging than anticipated. Remember, every neighborhood has its unique character, and what might be a deal breaker for one person could be perfect for another. If you're thinking about moving to any of these areas, I'd love to show you around and help you out if you decide it's the right fit for your lifestyle. My direct cell is in the description below, and I always answer messages personally. Whether you're just starting your search or you're ready to make a move, I can help you find the perfect neighborhood that matches your lifestyle. Make sure to hit the subscribe button for more Boston real estate insights, and I'll see you in the next video.